バート・プラントは曲作りも。
Since you were, I guess, the most experienced songwriter, I mean, you're obviously capable of putting songs together at the time.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Well, are we to assume that you handle all the songwriting chores for the first
Well,
time?
yes, I'd written quite a lot of songs in the past. Anyway, I wanted to encourage Robert to write. Yeah, sure. On the first album, I did quite a lot of lyrics, but I wanted Robert to. I wanted to encourage him as a writer because I felt, and I still, it's something that I thought of. I still adhere to this actually. That if a singer is putting his lyrics in, he's going to sing them with far more conviction than. Don't forget, I mean, at this point, there's a cast iron grip on everything. If I'm giving all the musical arrangements, virtually, suggesting what notes, everyone's going to be playing or singing. It was important as a group. Because this is, I was intent on forming, a magnificent group. It had to be a group, so consequently it needed all the input. You see. So yeah, I encouraged Robert to write, bit by bit. He's doing a verse here and a verse there, and of course my idea was that my written lyrical contribution would, be small and small as it went on, which is the way it went. So yes, in the early days I was supplying quite a lot of
将来的にそのロバート・プラントが曲を書けるようになるというビジョンはなかったんでしょうかね。その時点で、ずっとこのパターンで作っていくという気分はあったのかな。
というか、最初は
To interject something here, Robert isn't credited for writing on that first album because he had a songwriting agreement which hung over from before. And so that's why his name was left off for the writing of some of the tracks.
現にmaybe a rather strange way of putting it, but of all the Zeppelin records, I guess we could say that the first is about as close to a Jimmy Page solo record as you would have gotten.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, you kind of rounded up the memories.
I suppose so.
I
suppose you could say that. You could say that, yeah. In a way, possibly. But I still think of it as a group effort, but still.
Had you anticipated that?
No, not really. No, not really. No, not the way that it did.
Yeah.
Because it's curious. In the first dates that we were playing, we went back to we played in Scandinavia. We also went back there again, and we were playing around England, various clubs and things. And the reaction was incredible at the end, but a lot of it, people didn't really know what we were doing because, they hadn't, there was nothing like it. There was nothing like it around. But by the time we got to America, purely because of the input that there had been for me in the Yardbirds, they were very, very keen to hear what I was up to, what I've been up to. So obviously they were very keen to come and hear what we were doing, and that's where it really took off. Because to begin with, over there, we were supporting the Vanilla Fudge, and we weren't even billed. But once that was just a short. I can't remember how many dates there were supporting the Vanilla Fudge, about 8. Then we started doing a few dates on our own. We did the Whiskey A Go Go in Hollywood, and the reaction was incredible there. It wasn't until the next step on, which was San Francisco, when we got there, that it just took off. I think the main reason for this was that San Francisco, it became like a very sort of family situation with all the bands jamming with each other and everything, and and they were very used to what they were hearing, and we just went in there and hit it like a bolt, like a bolt of lightning, really. And it was just incredible, just the whole reaction, and it was from that point that the whole reputation of this band, just spread from there. It was like wildfire all over the States. Everyone then was really wanting to go and hear what it was all about, and that's when it really took off.
の
Were you actually told to perform as the new Yardbirds in England at the outset?
No, I explained that we had some... When the Yardbirds split up, as a total measure of how disenchanted they were with the band, they left the name with me, okay? But they also left some contractual obligations as well, which was, as I said, in Scandinavia. So we changed our name as soon as we possibly could to Led Zeppelin. You know.
You said
We changed our name to Led Zeppelin after that.
contractual obligations in Scandinavia. I don't quite.
Yeah, we had some contractual. There was like some dates that had been
Oh, actually,
set, which were forgotten about at the time that they went, but they were there in the future to fulfil. So it just so happened that we fulfilled that as a new Yardbirds at the time.
oh, I see.
You know,
I see.
あの
name. If I'd have pulled out, I'd got sued, wouldn't I?
あの
The first record came out when he was still in high school, and it more or less changed his life, and then I guess he got him into this career. How about for you guys actually putting the record together? Were you actually conscious of the fact that you were sort of changing rock history at the time, and you were doing more than just throwing your hat into the ring? You were actually
No, I knew. As I said, I explained exactly what, from the previous question, exactly what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to showcase on this first album. So I knew that it hadn't been done before. So sure, I knew exactly what was happening.
But did you consider the fact that you'd be changing certain people's lives with this stuff? Because I mean, obviously.
Well, obviously not at that time. No. Yeah.
The success of the first record forced you to record the second one in various places, which at the time was a very irregular, very strange approach to recording, a very unusual approach.
We always had strange approaches to recording, but yes, that's true.
He was wondering if that was a burden at all, having to
No,
break out.
because I was writing the stuff while... some of the stuff was written, obviously beforehand, like Whole Lot of Love and Ramble On. No, sorry, What Is and What Should Never Be. Let's see, what else did we do? Anyway, we did 4 of the numbers in a recording studio in London before we went on to the American tour. But yes, the idea was to actually record in America, because I wanted to record in American studios.
Why did you want to record it?
Because the studio sounded better to me.
So, if anything, it helped you as opposed to being a burden.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. In the energy of a tour as well, within the writing as well. Sure.
でよくわかるな2枚組と4
A little technical question here. Why is Good Times, Bad Times on the double album, but not on the quadruple album?
No real reason. The fact, you see, once I'd got the running order of the 4 CDs, obviously numbers were left off.
Mm-hmm.
It's obvious that quite a lot of numbers are left off. And the whole remastering process from analog to digital is an extremely lengthy process, I might add, which is quite a surprise to me, actually, just how long it took. And for example, I arrived in New York, slept, and then went in the studio the next day, and working away, and the jet lag sort of hit me. And I said, I think I'm going to have to go back to the hotel. And they said, well, it's no wonder you've been working 14 hours. And this is how it continued for the next sort of 5 days. 12, 14 hours per session, so to speak. But it was proposed that Atlantic said, can we put out a double CD? And considering I put so much forethought into this running order and the way that it should go and representing everything, I thought, well, rather than take anything away from this, we'll just put out whatever tracks there be that seem to be the firm favourites for the double as in chronological order. And as Good Times, Bad Times didn't appear on the 4 CD set, it just happened to appear. There's no real reason for it other than that, really.
Zeppelin, from the first album to the second album, sort of achieved, rock stardom of Beatlesque proportions. Nobody else has really equaled that kind of success. Looking back in retrospect on that, how was it? And what was it to you? Was it a dreamlike phase in your career, or was it vindication for the vision you had had?
A certain vindication,
Uh-huh.
yeah. But well, obviously it was a vindication because I knew I got it right. The whole thing was the right way, obviously, by the way that it touched and has touched so many people. As far as the amount of people coming to the concerts, that never diminished all the way through the career of Led Zeppelin right to the end. It was just a question of supply and demand, and to the size of football stadiums or whatever it was. They just got to the point when they always sold out.
Uh-huh.
So it never stopped growing, in actual fact.
Uh-huh. But I mean, what was it like to be the center of that kind of attention all of a sudden? Because it was obviously happening to you for the first time. Did you feel like you had become someone different, or how does it look in retrospect?
Well, I was just putting all my energies into work and treating it as a craft, basically.
You didn't come.
No, I was just putting it back in. Everything was just going back into the writing and everything else.
You didn't start thinking of yourself as pop icon.
No, those are labels that were strung around my neck by reviewers, etc. The media,
McCartney, this is going on to the third album here. He wanted to ask you why he had done it originally, and I said you already answered the question a while ago.
Good.
So I sort of summarized
Good.
it there.
Yeah.
Save you some trouble.
All right.
So he was saying, had you feared sort of a backlash from the fans, though? Because you broke the rules with that kind of turned some heads. You hadn't feared...
From the fans?
Yeah, you hadn't feared
No.
reprisals from the...
No, not from the fans at all.
Yeah.
No, because we knew. We were our own worst critics. And we always, if we had a number which sounded even vaguely similar to something that we'd done in the past, that was it. Forget it. Wasn't even recorded. What we believed we were doing quality music, and we believed in what we were doing. And if you've got strong enough convictions like that, that should hold true at the end of the day. Well, it did. There's no doubt about it.
そんなことはない。
いや、もう、とにかく素晴らしい。But it in fact sell as well as the first two, did it? I mean, sales kind of...
I don't know. I'm perfectly truthful with you. I don't know what the sales were of any of the albums. So
Is that right?
I
That's something you
didn't
didn't
bother
consider.
to. No.
As long as people came to the shows, you were...
Well, the people did come to the shows.
So that's all I believe.
Yeah, yeah. Because you see, the most important part of it was that once an album was recorded, and basically you did go out to promote the album in the early days, and those numbers went into the set. That was then that's just the beginning of it, really, because then they started to take on yet another identity, because we weren't just prepared just to just play them note for note as they'd been recorded. We really made the numbers work for us, and we just kept improving them and improving them. I mean, the proof of that is on Song Remains the Same album, where you can hear the live versions of the studio cuts. Yes, the important part was the fact that we also didn't... I didn't do the same guitar solos every night or whatever. It's always in a state of change and flux, purely. And that's the way it was, that kept us musically alive. And that was the important part for me. Providing that was always happening, then we'd always be able to be coming out with good albums. Personal view, I'm saying. Everyone, I think the rest of them would agree with that, if they were here now.